Hello, algebra students. Mr. Lawrence here, trying to help you close the gap in your learning. No fault of your own in this one. This is scientific notation. I've given you a little bit of instruction in the classroom. However, it hasn't been enough, and I don't have time to go over it every day in class, so we're going to supplement it by these videos. All right, first of all, scientific notation. Remember that for a number to be in scientific notation, the decimal portion of the number, you'll hear me refer to it as a coefficient often. It's technically not a coefficient, but these scientific notation numbers behave very much like coefficients with variables. And so I see the pattern and I see the similarities, and that's why we'll refer to it that way. Anyway, the decimal portion of the number must be at least 1, but it has to be less than 10. So for example, you could have a number like 1.00 that could possibly be in scientific notation, but as soon as you get to 10, you're not in scientific notation anymore by definition. All right, now, then it's got to be, the number n has to be multiplied by 10 to some power. Okay, 10 to some power. All right, so let me see here. I'm going to convert these two standard numbers, 23 million and, geez, what is that? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths, 100,000ths, millions, 10 millions, 631 10 millionths. I think that's what that is. I'm not sure who reads it that way, but that's the proper way to read it. I'm going to convert them both into scientific notation. So right now, 23 million is obviously larger than 10. I need the decimal point to be here between the 2 and the 3. Currently, it's here. Well, I'm going to divide by 10 multiple times. I'm going to divide by 10 once, twice, 3 times. Remember, dividing by 10 is going to cause that decimal point to move 1 to the left. Okay, so 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7 times. So I just divided by 10 7 times. Okay, so my number in scientific notation is going to be this, but then I have to multiply it by 10 to the 7th power. If I forget to multiply it by 10 to the 7th, I've just turned 23 million into 2 3/10. I'm not allowed to do that. Those of you in 9th period will remember my example of Riley. You know, she's 14 years old. We can't just divide her age by 10 and all of a sudden she's 1.4 years old. It doesn't work that way. So to express her age, similarly, if we divide the 14 by 10, then we have to multiply it by 10. In that case, it's 10 to the 1st, right? Okay, we're going to do a similar thing on this one that's smaller than 1. This number is obviously smaller than 1. I need the decimal point to be here. We can see clearly it's there, so I'm going to multiply by 10, and then 10 squared, and 10 to the 3rd, and then 10 to the 4th, and then 10 to the 5th. So my number in scientific notation, the decimal portion will be 6 31/100ths, but that's going to be multiplied by 10 to the 5th. And in doing so, I have not changed the number, 10 to the -5th. There we go. Sorry about that. I have not changed the number, but I've only changed the way it looks. Now, by the way, it's 10 to the -5th because I multiplied here. I have to cancel out the multiplication with division, but scientific notation never uses division. So, I mean, technically what really happened is I had this decimal, and I turned the decimal portion of it into this. Now I have to divide by 10 to the 5th, right? Because otherwise it's a different number. But since scientific notation requires that it be multiplication, I'm going to take this to the numerator. And so that's where I get the 6 31/100ths times 10 to the -5th power, because the exponent changed as I move it up. Okay, at this point, I'd like you to pause the video and try these 4 problems. Okay, and then you can come back and see my answers. Okay, I'm getting ready to show you my answers. Please make sure that you've paused the video and tried all 4 before you continue watching. Here we go. All right, this first one, A, I'm going to have 6 213/1000ths times 10 to the 1 2 3 3rd power. Okay, B is going to be 4 8/10 times 10 to the 1, 2, 3, 4 fourth power, but it's division because this decimal got bigger, right? So I need it to be negative fourth power so that it can be the same as division. All right, coming down here to C, I'm going to have 5 5/10 times 10 to the 3, 6, 9, 10th power. There we go. And the last one is going to be 3 91 100ths times 10 to the 1, 2, 3. That's multiplication, so I have to divide negative third. There you go. All right, that's it for this video. I'm going to do several more little short videos like this. Mr. Lawrence signing off. Have a good night, everybody.